Bills Mafia, what's going on? You know our Buffalo Bills are always working, always striving to get better, and that's exactly why we're here tonight. To talk about the latest roster moves, some big injury updates, and yes, a potential reunion with a familiar face. But before we dive into all of it, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the biggest Bills updates. Every single week, we're bringing you the stories you won't hear anywhere else. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Let's start with the headline news. Kaden Davis has been released. Yeah, you heard that right. After his little hard knocks moment where he actually got a laugh out of Josh Allen during an improv drill, Davis is officially off the Bills roster. He came in as a temporary kicker while Tyler Bass was sidelined with that injury. And now, with Bass inching closer to full health, the Bills made the move. Some fans are asking, why now? Why cut Davis before the final preseason stretch? The answer's simple. This is about trust in Tyler Bass. The Bills don't want to carry extra players at kicker if they believe Bass is ready to go. And based on what Sean McDermott said this week, that's exactly the case. McDermott laid it out clearly. Bass has a return-to-action plan. The staff's been careful with him, keeping him off live practice kicking since July 27th. But the vision is for him to start kicking with the team again by Thursday, and then handle full duties against the Buccaneers on August 23rd. That's right, if everything goes according to plan, when Buffalo closes out the preseason on the road, Bass will be back where he belongs, the guy with all the pressure on his leg delivering for this team. Now, let's not forget just how important Tyler Bass is to this roster. Think back to last season. He had some early bumps, but then came that unforgettable 61-yard game winner against the Miami Dolphins in Week 9. That was the turning point. From then on, Bass was locked in, absolutely perfect during the playoffs, ice in his veins when it mattered most. Over his first 5 seasons in Buffalo, he's averaged 31 made field goals per year. That's consistency. That's reliability. And that's why the Bills feel confident enough to say goodbye to Davis and move forward with Bass as the lone kicker. Speaking of Davis, let's give him some credit. He wasn't terrible. In fact, he made one of his 2 field goal attempts while filling in, plus all his extra points. His lone miss was from 56 yards out against Chicago. Not exactly a chip shot. But here's the reality. This is Tyler Bass's job. And as long as Bass is upright and healthy, there was never going to be a competition. But that wasn't the only roster shuffle Buffalo made this week. The team also signed 3 new players, former LSU cornerback Zy Alexander, running back Elijah Young, and offensive lineman Rush Reimer. At the same time, they waived or injured running back Jarvion Howard after he went down during practice. Now, these might look like depth moves on the surface, but make no mistake, they're important. Every preseason signing matters when you're trying to find hidden gems and create competition in camp. Zy Alexander, for example, was a ball hawk in college. He's raw, sure, but he brings length and aggressiveness at corner. Elijah Young is another name to watch. Quick, shifty, and fighting for a chance to stick in a crowded running back room. And Reimer adds much-needed depth to the offensive line rotation. So the front office is working. They're not letting things sit idle while they wait for the preseason finale. But Bills Mafia, here's where it gets even juicier. The Gabriel Davis storyline. That's right, the Bills actually hosted their former wide receiver this week. The same Gabriel Davis who caught that legendary 4-touchdown playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs back in January 2022. Now, let's backtrack for a second. Davis, as you all remember, left Buffalo after his rookie deal expired. He signed with Jacksonville on a 3-year, $39 million deal. But things didn't go as planned. He suffered a season-ending knee injury last year, and the Jaguars ultimately waived him this offseason after he failed a physical. Since then, Davis has been making the rounds. He's visited the Steelers twice, plus the Saints, 49ers, and Giants. But now, he's back in Buffalo for a visit. Think about that for a moment.
Why bring him in? Well, number 1, familiarity. He knows the system. He knows Josh Allen, and he knows this fan base. Number 2, upside. If Davis can get healthy, he's still only 26 years old. That's prime age for a wide receiver. He's got size, physicality, and we all know he can show up in big moments. And number 3, cost. At this point in his career, coming off an injury and a failed physical, he's not going to command anywhere near the kind of money he got from Jacksonville. For the Bills, this could be a low-risk, high-reward signing. Let's not sugarcoat it, though. In 2024 with the Jaguars, Davis wasn't himself. Just 20 catches on 42 targets, 239 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 10 games. That's a far cry from his best years in Buffalo. But could a return to Orchard Park reignite his career? That's the question. And I'll tell you this, Josh Allen wouldn't hate having a familiar target back. With Stephon Diggs long gone and a wide receiver room that's talented but still proving itself, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore, Laviska Shenault Jr., the Bills wouldn't mind adding another reliable veteran option. Even if Davis is just depth, even if he's just insurance, the move makes sense. The Bills made a huge splash this offseason when they brought in Joey Bosa, the 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end, on a 1-year deal worth up to $15.6 million with incentives. For years, fans have begged the front office to keep adding to the pass rush, and after using draft capital to build depth, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott doubled down by bringing in a proven veteran who knows how to make quarterbacks miserable. But here's where things get really interesting. Defensive coordinator Bobby Babich couldn't stop smiling when he talked about Bosa this week. And he wasn't just praising his physical ability. He was highlighting something deeper, something cultural. Joey Bosa is an incredible dude. He wants to assimilate into what we're doing. If he makes a mistake, it weighs on him heavily. He doesn't want to let his teammates down. Bills Mafia, that's not just coach talk. That's a direct insight into the kind of player and person the Bills just added to the locker room. We've all seen guys come in with talent but not fit the culture. This is different. Bosa's buying in. He's embracing Buffalo. And when you combine that mentality with his natural skill set, you've got a dangerous mix. And listen, if you watched Hard Knocks recently, you probably noticed the same thing the coaching staff did. This team feels different. It's tighter. The bonds are stronger. Since McDermott and Beane took over, culture has been the cornerstone. Bosa gets it, and in just a short time, he's already earning the trust of teammates. Babich doubled down, saying he's been a welcome addition. He's quickly befriended a lot of the guys, and that's as important as anything, that connection between those guys. And let's not underestimate how important that connection is. When Von Miller arrived, his leadership and bond with younger players elevated the entire defense. Bosa may not be as vocal as Von, but his presence is already being felt. Now let's look at the numbers, because I know some fans are saying, yeah, but can he stay healthy? It's true. Injuries have been the shadow over Bosa's career. He's missed 42 games over 9 seasons. That's not nothing. But when he's on the field, he's an absolute game wrecker. In 2024 with the Chargers, he recorded 5 sacks, 22 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and a 13.9% pass rush win rate, ranking 22nd among all defensive linemen. That's still elite territory, especially when you consider he was limited to 50% of defensive snaps as the Chargers tried to keep him fresh. The Bills know this. They're not blind to it, and much like they did with Von Miller, they could use Bosa strategically. Third downs, key moments, critical drives. Keep him fresh, keep him healthy, and let him unleash havoc when it matters most. And Bills Mafia, let me tell you this. If you saw him in that first preseason game against the Giants, you already know what kind of difference he makes. The man's presence was undeniable. You could feel it from the line of scrimmage to the stands. Opposing quarterbacks are going to have to account for him on every snap. Now, I want to address the timing here. The Bills open the regular season on September 7th against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. What better test than that? A mobile quarterback who can extend plays and an offensive line that's going to have their hands full. Having Bosa on the field could be the exact difference between containing Jackson and watching him tear up the defense. And let's not forget, this isn't just about one man. The Bills invested in their defensive line through the draft. They've got Ed Oliver locked up, Gregory Rousseau developing into a real force, and Von Miller still available for those clutch moments. Adding Bosa doesn't just improve the roster. It transforms the entire dynamic of the defense. Offenses can't double-team everyone. Somebody is going to eat. And if it's Joey Bosa, you better believe quarterbacks around the AFC are going to feel it. So, let's step back and look at the big picture. The Bills are chasing greatness. They're not content with just being competitive. They're stacking their roster with a mix of young talent and veteran leadership. And Joey Bosa is the kind of player who, if he stays healthy, could push this team over the edge defensively. Yes, there are risks. Yes, the injury history is real. But Bills fans, how many times have we seen this front office take smart, calculated risks? This is another one. And honestly, given what we've already seen from Bosa's mindset, it feels like the right move at the right time. So here's where we stand, Bills Mafia. Kaden Davis is out. Tyler Bass is back on track. The roster got a little deeper with Zy Alexander, Elijah Young, and Rush Reimer. And Gabriel Davis? He just might be circling back to Buffalo for a second act. This is the kind of week where you realize just how much is happening behind the scenes. Injuries, signings, visits. Every move has a ripple effect. And with the preseason finale just around the corner, the Bills are tightening things up, making sure this roster is ready to roll when the games actually matter. So, now I want to hear from you. Do you think Tyler Bass will pick up right where he left off last year and be the clutch kicker this team needs? Do you think Gabriel Davis should come back to Buffalo and rejoin Josh Allen? Or is that chapter closed? And out of the new signings, who excites you the most? Zy Alexander, Elijah Young, or Rush Reimer? Drop your answers in the comments below. I read every single one of them and I love hearing your takes. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates. This is Buffalo Beat News, bringing you the stories that keep Bills Mafia in the know. Until next time, go Bills.